EGM Network.
This is Martha Matters. From real estate, healthcare, current events, taxes, or just about any topic, we're talking about it. Call us with any questions on just about any subject. Now, here she is, Martha!
Well, hi there and welcome. This is part 2 of how to do home inspections, which, as Jason so neatly said, it's probably the biggest decision you'll make in your life. You don't think about it till after it happens, but you don't want to be someone who says, oh, I forgot to ask this. Oh, I forgot to check this. It's a very, very important thing. And just for the fun of it, for those of you who listened to it before, what are the 2 out of 3 things that we have to do when we get an inspector?
Well, the 2 out of 3 things that you're talking about, we said that you can only have 2 out of 3 things, and that's cheap, fast, or good. So you can either have it cheap and fast, but it's not going to be good, or it's going to be good and fast, but it's not going to be cheap, or it can be cheap and good, but it's not going to be fast. So, it's
that's a good thing to remember.
Yeah, it is. It is. So with the home inspection and everything else I had, you are purchasing the largest thing you ever purchased in your life, which was we talked about. For most of us, buying a home is the largest thing in life. So make sure you do your homework when getting an inspector, and definitely get it inspected, because to be honest with you, most purchases don't require a home inspection. Like, it's not required to have your house inspected now, as far as a full home inspection. Now, insurance will require insurance inspections. VA will require certain inspections for a VA loan, and so on and so forth. However, just for peace of mind and knowing what you're purchasing, would you go out and buy a $500,000 car without driving it first? No. So that's what we do. We're test driving your home. We're getting in there and we're making sure that your home is safe, that it makes good sense for you, that this is going to fit you, and this is what you're not going to go in there and dump thousands of dollars into it as soon as you walk through that door. Now, don't get me wrong. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't tell you when things are going to fail. And we were talking about that earlier when you said that, when you were talking about your dryer in the earlier episode. When certain things like that happen, like for when we do an inspection, we inspect an AC unit. All right, it's in here in Florida. Our AC units are the hardest working piece of equipment we'll ever own in your home, because it runs and runs and runs and runs. It's hot. That being said, units here in Florida, depending on how close you live to the ocean, that salt water will destroy an outside unit. The average lifespan is about 8 to 12 years for an AC unit. Now, don't get me wrong. We have seen them run a much, much longer than that, and we have seen them fail way before that.
Yeah, mine alone, we just had our AC changed this last week. The train AC that we had lasted 24 years.
No doubt. Now, I'm going to upset some people by saying this, and I'm okay with upsetting some people.
Right.
However, today's equipment doesn't hold up to yesterday's equipment.
Yes. Everybody says
I joke around and tell people that I will put a 1980s Goodman up against a 2026 train all day, every day. Just because it was built a little bit different. We were much more HD back then. However, units nowadays have become so much more efficient. They've got more perks. Most of the units don't require humidistats anymore, and the technology has changed. I understand that completely.
And also, you may have a fabulous motor in your AC, but if it's on Freon, your days are numbered. As soon as it leaks, we have different cooling agents today, and Freon is getting very, very scarce. So
they've just changed the gas again. So now, if you look at some of these newer units, and I don't know the number of again, I'm a home inspector. I'm not a HVAC guy. And if you have any questions about this, go contact your HVAC air conditioner people. They'll help you out more with this. But now we're noticing that with the change of the gases that are in there, you now have to put it is now flammable gas that's being used inside these units, and they have to put that warning label on them. So even in my 12 years, this is the third change to the gas that I've seen going into these units. And again, anytime you've got something new change, we don't know how it's going to react later on down the road, what the efficiencies are going to look at it down the road. So that's going to be something to see in the future if this gas is going to work much better. But it does make me hesitate that now you have to put all these flammable warnings on these units that are in your house.
And also the size. There's so much. We got 3.5 tons, which was the same size as our previous AC, and all of a sudden, not only are the units themselves better insulated for efficiency, but instead of an AC unit on a pedestal in your closet, this new one goes from floor to ceiling.
So yeah, depending on all the different options and stuff like that, we see all different types of units inspecting homes, and keeping on top of them is definitely a tough one, because when you're an HVAC or an air conditioning professional, you only really have to know AC codes. When you are an electrician, you have to know electrical codes. If you are a plumber, you have to know plumbing codes. And you try to stay in your lane. I don't expect a plumber to know electrical issues.
Right.
However, they need to know how to stay away from some things. As an inspector, we are expected to know all these
those
things.
Codes.
All these codes. Now, first thing I have to tell you is home inspection is not a code inspection. All right. So
That's important.
as a home inspector, we are not code inspectors. Your county inspectors are supposed to be your code inspectors. However, as an inspector, I make sure that my inspectors and myself stay abreast on what is currently happening with the codes, so that we can call them out and we can make sure that things are being installed properly. The biggest thing we hear out there when doing an inspection is the buyer's uncle was a electrician in 1960 in New York somewhere. Codes have changed 80 times since then,
Literally.
So definitely make sure that your inspector that you have is up to snuff on everything that's coming out. And feel free to ask them, do I know everything out there? No. However, I will find out the answer for you. If you've got questions or anything out there, I will do my best to find the answer out for you. And that's what just makes us better inspectors over time, is finding out those answers and things that we run into. So that's one of the big things, is make sure your inspector is well versed.
That's beautiful. What are the single most problems with your recent inspections that take place? I would assume it would be a lot of hidden things in the walls and whatnot that the average person...
So DIY, Google is a heck of a drug. People go out there and they Google and YouTube stuff, and they think that they can build things and so on and so forth. Now, there are some really great DIY videos out there, and for
do-it-yourself.
Do-it-yourself. For those who don't know what DIY means, the do-it-yourselfers out there that want to save a buck from hiring a professional and doing it themselves. For instance, this just happened a couple of days ago. One of my inspectors was inspecting a new panel that was just put in. There was a panel up above it. We could see that there was a little cover above the panel. My inspector went up there, and there was 2 screws in this little wood piece of panel, and he took those screws out to take a look behind them. Now, we are not required to take those screws out to do our inspection. However, I encourage my inspectors that if you are able to see behind something, please remove it and take a look behind. And I'm so glad that my inspector did, because as soon as he removed it, there was a bunch of wire nuts of wires above it that they tied into this panel. So it was old wiring tying into a short string of new wiring to make it look like it was all updated. And it wasn't. So it still had the older school wiring in there. And these wire nuts weren't even in junction boxes. They were just wire netted behind this.
Were they aluminum wiring?
No,
Oh.
there was nothing wrong per se of the wiring that was in there. It was just older wiring, an older wiring where we call fabric NM, which is just, it's a wiring like your Romex. However, the outer sheathing is a fabric sheathing, not a plastic coated sheathing. It's still rubber insulated wiring, but the exterior sheathing of it is fabric rather than being the plastic that we have nowadays, which frays over time and it deteriorates up in your attics and stuff like that. Again, we see it all over the time. Our thing is, if we recommend having it replaced, however, you don't have to. It's not required to have it replaced. All right. The only wiring that's really the insurance companies are having a big fit about, and that's the single strand aluminum wiring that's out there.
I remember
which
that.
Most of it has been found and remediated by now.
That was
using
from the
aluminum.
1950s.
Well, we see it in
sooner.
60s houses
too.
and sometimes even in the 70s. But one thing that you have to be, again, the reason why making sure that knowledge is out there, then they came out with this product that is nickel-plated copper.
Oh, wow.
Which looks exactly like single-strand aluminum wiring. And I run into inspectors that call this out as single-strand aluminum wiring, and it starts this big issue with the insurance companies and stuff like that, when just a couple of steps and you could have found out that it was not single-strand aluminum wiring. It's nickel-coated copper wiring.
Wow.
And so on and so forth. And we just ran into that the other day and had to take the extra steps of shutting down an electrical panel so that we could take a closer look at the wiring. But again,
Jeez.
That's something that I allow my inspectors to do after they do some training and they do their steps to do this, and they feel comfortable enough to do it. If not, they can call one of myself, or we work very well with some of our electricians. We'll call out there and just to make sure that, you know, that's what you have in your house. Better safe than sorry. So that's kind of some of the things that we run into is the big DIY stuff. People that think that they can fix it themselves using the wrong plumbing. PVC is not CPVC.
No.
No. The PEX plumbing, people running their own PEX plumbing throughout the attics and stuff like that. There's still codes that have to be followed on how things are nailed up through your attic and so on and so forth.
In Florida, the biggest problem is those with copper plumbing, both from the, I guess, World War II, when copper was a premium for a battle. You have this copper that every now and then can give pinhole leaks that's not up to standard. And then to add fuel to the fire, a plumber comes and he fixes where the leak is, and a year later in the same pipe, 2 inches more, is another leak. Well, that's another service call. That's just what he wants. And instead, I recommended to people, even as a realtor, if there's a leak in any pipe, replace it all the way up to the elbow at least.
There's different, yes. So during our home inspection and whatnot, so yes, we've seen copper failures, so on and so forth. During your home inspection, again, we can't see inside a lot of the walls, and a lot of these leaks are happening under slab. Now we check for signs that it's currently happening. As far as like, is the water meter when everything's shut off? Biggest thing you can do, people, if you shut everything off in your house and go take a look at your water meter. If there's something moving and it's calculating water's moving,
Guess
and you
what?
haven't, guess what?
You have a
leak. So I mean that's number one right there. But when it comes to piping and stuff like that, when it comes to the copper piping, talk to your plumbing professionals. Find out, you know, what's the best course of action. Here also the other side of it, we talked to those are supply line issues. Let's talk a little about drain line issues. One of the big drain line issues we have is we still have a lot of these 1950s and 60s houses that have these cast iron drain lines.
Oh, yeah.
That are still in these homes. So one of the services we do offer is we do offer sewer scoping and stuff like that, which we take a long day of sitting on someone's roof and running down cameras down the insides of these pipes and looking for pits and divots and movement. And even before cast iron, there was terracotta. That's a whole nother
Right.
bag of cats when you get into that. But so it's very important knowing what you're purchasing and knowing what you're getting, especially when you're dealing with these older homes. We had a company or a client come out and we did the sewer scope and we warned them about there was a lot of blockage starting to happen in these lines, and we warned them that they could fail at any point in time. They put a family of 4 in that house, and within a month, they were having to dig underneath the slab and redo all their lines. It collapsed in with all the usage.
There are some things they can do with that. If your cast iron is like, 40 feet long out to the street or something, and there's one small leak, instead of totally replacing it and digging everything up, they put in like a liner, and they will guarantee liners. You can't do it yourself, but some of the plumbing firms have that, and you can buy another 10 or 15 years. And if you're 85 years old, why get a new pipe?
You can. Again, it's talking to your plumbing professional, and because there's a lot of keys that go into that. Because the lines start getting these growths in them, and they're so on and so forth, you have to have enough volume open in the line for those liners to. But there are different options out there for these.
And it's nice to have an inspector who knows what they're talking about. So, well, with that, we're going to take a quick break, but stay with us because we have some time for more information.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to Riverside Theater's Comedy Zone, where the comedy is wild, untamed, and downright hilarious. Hit the zone this Friday and Saturday night at 6:30 and 8:30 for the Treasure Coast's best live stand-up comedy show, featuring nationally recognized comedians with cabaret-style seating and food and drink table service. Buy tickets at riversidetheater.com and get ready for a night of non-stop laughs.
Hi, I'm Ryan, owner of Treasure Coast Tree and Land Services. When it comes to your property, there's a difference between some guy with a chainsaw and a certified arborist. Don't take chances with your property. Make sure your tree company is certified, licensed, and insured. Call the professionals, Treasure Coast Tree and Land Services. If you're in the IRC, call Treasure Coast Trees.
Are you becoming a realtor, contractor, mold remediator, guardian? In the state of Florida, these and many other industries require a Level 2 live scan background check for clearance to work in your industry. A1A Fingerprints is your certified live scan source from Broward to Brevard. And if you're a medical provider, you need to be registered on the ACA web portal. A1A Fingerprints will help you navigate and comply with the law. Call 772-494-6556 or visit a1afingerprints.com. A1A Fingerprints.
At Evergreen Media, we know the people, the businesses, and the work needed to take your marketing to the next level. We know where locals go to shop, work, and have fun.
We're here to focus on your local advertising so you can focus on your business. This is our home. This is our business. Evergreen Media. We market, you grow.
Well, welcome back, everyone. I have one real question. Of all the inspections that you do, what is the most frequent problem that you come across?
So the biggest elephant in the room when we do inspection stuff like that normally revolves around the roof. So that's normally the biggest question that anybody has is how much life do we have left in our roof, especially here in Florida because we have so many storms and we have a lot of rain and stuff like that. And dealing with insurance companies when purchasing a roof or purchasing a home, the biggest thing an insurance company wants to know is how much life is left in the roofing system. And there's a lot of things that go into that. And most insurance companies want to have at least 5 years left in a roof before they insure it. And there's a lot of calculations that go into trying to make that decision. And one thing is we don't want to go out there and say that there's 5 years on a roof just so that you can get insurance and then next week it starts leaking. You know, that's just bad juju. We don't want it. That's bad business. That's bad karma. That's just bad all the way around. So we're not there to placate, the home buyer. We want to be fair and honest when we do these evaluations of these roofs and so on and so forth. Now, the biggest thing that we get is people come to me, oh, I was told this is a 50-year roof, a 50-year shingle.
No such thing. No
such thing in the state of Florida. Each region is going to be completely different. Shingles are built differently for different regions. That's why after hurricanes, when we have all these people that come from other states to help us, we beg them, please don't bring your shingles down here. Because your shingle is a Midwest shingle will not last here in Florida. A Florida shingle will not last in the Midwest. Midwest has to deal with snow and everything else like that, where we deal with heat and rain and everything and big UV and stuff like that. But when we make these calculations of how much life is left in the roof, we're looking for a couple of different things. We're looking for damage. Is there damage to the roof? Hail damage, just overall damage. The biggest thing that makes me cry driving around is if I see somebody up on a granulated shingle roof with a pressure washer.
I know, that's the worst thing.
Those granules are on those shingles for a reason, and that's to protect the
tar from the sun.
Yeah, to protect from UV light, which makes the shingle brittle, crack, and then start leaking over time as well. And there's a lot of products out there that we see, and one of the biggest, largest misconceptions are some of the products out there, like this elastomeric product that's out there, which is a wonderful product. But people go out and they start painting their shingle roofs, thinking that they're sealing it to give it more life.
There's a company that goes around wanting to treat shingles and say, we'll give you another 10 years or something like that.
I am very remiss to say that it's
more than one company, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. First off, there's a lot of different products out there. Research the product they're going to put on your roof. All right. That's number one. Research product to put on the roof. Read it out there, because there's a lot of products out there that say right on it, do not put on shingles. You got to remember that there is a air gap in there, and when you paint this stuff on there, your shingle's going to rot in between that product. So, and of course, elastomeric being a brand name out there, they do have products that can go on shingles. However, you are putting Band-Aids on bullet wounds. You're only just fixing it's a small time
fixing the
fix.
surface.
Yeah, you're fixing surface. It's a short time fix for a long time issue. And so just get with your inspectors and listen to them, and they will try to help you out in the best course of action. We're there to be your sounding board, your guide a little bit to things that you may not know. But take our warnings to heart as well. But yeah, roofing is a big
issue.
A big issue. So ask your questions, be informed.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for your information. Let's have your phone number.
My phone number, my company is First and Goal Home Inspections here on the Treasure Coast. We do some of other coasts around us as well. My name is Jason Patzer. My phone number is 772-501-1738. Again, that's 772-501-1738. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you.
That I can verify. You love inquisitive phone calls.
I do, because it only helps me learn. Because if I don't know, I will.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, have a wonderful week, and thank you ever so much. And all of you listening, feel free to give Jason a phone call. That's Jason Patzer, Patzer.
Hope to hear from you guys soon.